Here is day 3 of my starting celery. And I basically just got my celery from Trader Joe's, used a bunch of it, and then instead of discarding this part, I just cut the bottom and put it in this little bowl. And now it's sitting here in my kitchen and it's starting to grow. And eventually I'll have roots on the bottom. I will plant them out into the garden and I will actually have celery all through the fall. This is the easiest way to grow celery, and it's awesome to have these beautiful big celery plants. I can just go cut my celery stalks as I need them. It has been 3 weeks since I started this celery in my house. And as you can see, they have roots now and quite a bit of growth on top. And this one is doing great as well. So I'm going to go outside and plant them in a grow bag today. And I will show you how I do that. I'm Debbie from Organic Oasis, California. And I am going to go ahead and transplant these little celery stalks that I got going in this little bowl in my kitchen. You can see the roots here. So it's time to plant them outside, and I chose a spot here in my garden. I'm just gonna put a little hole here, and I'm gonna go ahead and dig down. I've got a lot of compost I've added here, so the soil's nice. And then I'm just gonna put this in here like this and just kind of cover it up. You don't want to bury the stalk. You just want to bury the roots and the cut base. So kind of like this, and then press down here. And then I'm going to put this back over here so that it keeps it nice and moist. And I'm putting my water irrigation back in and making sure my irrigation is on so that it's going to get water. Now, celery is a fall plant, and we're in California and we're still getting temperatures up to the 80s. And so I'm going to put this on here, and I'm going to protect it, but I'm going to put some tulle on top of it to kind of shade it a little bit. I don't want the sun to burn it up. As the temperatures cool, then I can take this off. Okay. I'm gonna put my other one in here. So I'm gonna just push the straw aside. Got to get the water going here. I'm going to go ahead and pour the water here. Okay, and then I'm going to just put this, as you can see, this is ready. I'm going to put this right here and just I'm just carefully packing the soil around the base and the roots. I don't want to bury the leaves. I don't want to bury the stalk. I just want the roots to take hold. And I am going to put the straw back to keep it nice and moist. And then I got my irrigation, which I've got it. I'm going to make sure this doesn't come out. I got make sure my irrigation's turned on, which it is. And I'm going to put this back on. These, by the way, are great for gardening, and I just got them at the dollar store for $1 each. And they're garbage cans. But my husband and I, Tomato Tim and I, bought them because they're awesome for when you start your starts. It keeps things from eating them. So this works out really well. And now I'm just going to put a little bit of cover over this to keep the sun off of them until we get some cooler temperature. So what I'm going to do is just take the tulle, and I'm going to wrap it around here. And I believe it will give some protection from the sun. Especially if I put it, double it up here. And I'll just tie it like that. And we'll check on it later and make sure it's okay. I have another one for the other plant. This one here, I'm just going to take this green, and it's quite big, but it's okay because I want it to be a shade protector. So what I will do is I think what I'll do is just wrap it a bunch of times around like this and cover it over like this. And that basically all we want it to do is just keep the beating sun off of it. I also have shade cloth, but I don't want to keep all the sun off of it. I'll come out tomorrow and check and see how it's doing. Just kind of go like this for now. Like that. There we go. It's not the most beautiful thing, but it's only until it cools down here in California. And once it's cooled down, this will come off. And I've done this every year, and this will get giant, and I'll have celery for 6 months, and it's wonderful. And the celery grows huge, and it usually stays healthy and wonderful. But I just want to make sure I don't get it too hot and have it in the sun, too much sun right off the bat. So this is hopefully going to protect it. And if I come out tomorrow and find that it's wilting, I maybe will put actual shade cloth on. But let's try this. So the last time I posted about the celery, I had walked you through the steps of getting my celery rooted, and I put it out in these little grow bags. I think this is a 5-gallon grow bag. I put it out here, and it was going to be warm, so I had covered it with tulle. Well, we're right now in California. We have another extreme heat warning. Today will be 101 degrees. Yesterday was 90 something. Tomorrow it's going to be another 101. We're going to have several days like that. And so yesterday I came out and I was babysitting my 18-month-old grandson. So I quickly threw a shade cover over it. So let's take a look and see how it's doing today. I'm kind of scared to look. Let's see if these celery plants are going to make it through this heat. They are fall plants. They don't like heat, so I don't know what I'm going to find. Okay. Let's take a good look. So here it is. Here's my first celery stalk that I planted. It looks like it's stressed, but it's still green. It's moist down in here. It's a little wilted. So I think this one's going to make it, and I'm going to keep it covered with the shade cloth and just keep my fingers crossed. I could pick up this bag and move it to a different location in my yard, but then I wouldn't have the irrigation, and we're actually going to be traveling, and I don't want to leave it without the drip going. So I'm just going to leave it here, and I will check it again and hope that it makes it through this heat wave. So I had bought these plastic, flexible plastic rings to make hoops, little hoops for the smart bags and for the grow bags. And I went ahead and just concocted this. it comes with these little pieces, and I just snap this on. I'm gonna go ahead and put this cover back on it because this also keeps birds and things from getting into it. It also is great, these baskets from the dollar store, they're garbage cans. They're great for keeping even squirrels out, rats, and small animals and critters. So now here's my shade cloth. So I'm just gonna drape it over, and hopefully this little plant will make it. And we'll have nice celery. So now we're over at my other celery plant that I transplanted from the little sprouted celery. And I'm gonna uncover it and let's see what we find inside. Oh man, look at this one. This one is not gonna make it through this heat and the transplanting in this heat. Look at this. So I see the little stalk down here. Plenty moist, so it's getting enough water. It's just the heat. It looks like there's just a few, it may make it. It's gonna be hard to tell. Right here in the middle, you can see there's one green leaf that's still green and looks okay, and this stalk still looks green. But all these around here died. So there's a possibility this could still come back, especially if our weather cools. I'm gonna cover it back up, keep it on water, and check it. We're, gonna be gone for a while, but I'm gonna just let it go, and hopefully when we come back, it'll have new growth and it'll recover from this heat. It's been about 6 weeks since I first started my celery cutting from the Trader Joe's celery that I purchased. And I planted it outside. Unfortunately, just a few days before a terrible heat wave hit California, and we had 100, 106, 107 degree temperatures. And so I covered the celery with shade cloth and went on a 2-week vacation. I came back, and now I'm going to go check my celery to see if it made it through the 2 weeks that we were gone. I did have it on drip irrigation, and I had covered it with shade cloth, but other than that, I did absolutely nothing to it. I haven't covered it, so now I'm going to go ahead and go look at it, and we'll see how it did. Okay, so here's the first celery plant. It's actually looking great. I have the cover that I keep on it to keep rats and different creatures from coming and eating it. I also, as you notice, I have some cayenne pepper sprinkled around it, and that's to keep the ants from crawling up onto it. We have a really bad ant problem here, and they like to harvest aphids. So the cayenne pepper, I'm trying to see if I can keep the ants away from my plants. So, but this is looking awesome. As you can see, I just took this lid and the shade cloth off today. But as you can see, the shade cloth really worked. The celery is starting to grow. It's nice and green. Let's check out the next one. Here is the other celery that I planted, and the last time I checked on this one, it was not doing great. Before I went on my vacation, it was actually really stressing out because of the heat wave. And so I covered it up, and now look, it's coming back nicely. There's the celery down there, the stalk, but it's growing back and it's looking good. So my celery's set back up again. I have the cage on here. And I also put on another shade cloth. This is a little less protection. It will still let a lot more sun through, but not as much as the black shade protection I had on. This, I think, blocks the sun about 50%. The other one I had on was more about 70%. So this will get more sun, but We are supposed to get 80-degree days coming up soon, so this should help the celery to keep growing. And here is the other celery. Same as the other one, I have it covered and I have the shade protection on it. So hopefully this will continue to grow through the fall and give me some nice, delicious celery in the winter time.